the station, its staff, management, or sponsors.
Welcome to the Business Kitchen Show, where every week we'll be cooking up some fun recipes to help you succeed in business. Our guests will be sharing time-tested and delicious business recipes, as well as some new cutting-edge ones. Every recipe has a story, and every chef adds their own unique flavor to the dish. Just like each business strategy has its own story, and owners work hard to make their mark. Here at the Business Kitchen, you can be sure to find your own recipe for success.
Hello. Welcome to a brand new episode of the Business Kitchen Show. Here at the Business Kitchen, we encourage you to look for the solutions outside the traditional recipe box. I'm your host. I'm Natalia Levy. And remember, always the conversation continues after the show on our Facebook page at facebook.com/Business Kitchen Show. Would like to thank today a Healthy Intent for being the sponsor of the show. Healthy Intent inspires you to live a healthier life. It is easy to bump health down the priority list behind the business phone calls and family commitments, and let's face it, anything else until we are diagnosed with something that forces us to make a change. Healthy Intent's Online Cooking Academy has incredible classes that will help you to make significant progress in your kitchen, whether cooking for yourself or your family, or subscribe to Healthy Intent YouTube channel for quick tips and more fun recipes. We all want to look better, feel better, and have more energy for life and business. Start every day with Healthy Intent. Visit healthyintent.com for more information. And today is National Radio Day, so I just want to give a shout out to all the people who deliver great information across the airwaves. So today's episode is quite interesting. I'm getting to talk to another chef, but before I bring our guest on, I just wanted to say that this pandemic has really changed education. Massive online open courses see exponential growth. Enrollment in Coursera, an online platform, has skyrocketed and was 640% higher from mid-March to mid-April than during the same period last year, growing from 1.6 to 10.3 million. And enrollment at Udemy was up over 400% between February and March. So this is a teaser of what we were going to be discussing today on the episode. And I'd love to introduce our guest for today. If we can bring in Rama Ginde. She's made an incredible pivot in her business. Rama is a graduate of the Culinary School of America in New York, which I'm very jealous for. She's also trained at the French Culinary Institute, the Institute for Integrative Nutrition. We have that in common. And Columbia University's Teachers College. Such an impressive training you have. Rama is a private chef. She's a holistic health counselor and educator on the mission to bring back the true essence of cooking. You're the woman after my own heart. Welcome, Rama. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much.
I'm so excited. Yes, I'm so excited to have a conversation with you today. We're two chefs, but you have a background of working in the restaurants, and I feel like this conversation is going to be amazing. You guys are going to get so many incredible nuggets about how chefs can pivot during the pandemic. Rama, right. I am honored to have you on the show.
Oh my gosh. You are too kind. Thank you. I'm blushing. I don't know if you can see it right now, but I'm getting really red. Thank you.
Well, I'm sure myself and everybody else can learn a lot from you. So give us a little bit of background on your business real quick.
Sure. So I've had my company Wannabe Chef for 11 years now. And I started off with a bang. I started off with a small little cooking studio in Bergen County, New Jersey. And then in the time I had my studio, I had 3 kids in 5 years. So it was like every year the business grew, every year my tummy grew. That's kind of how it worked. After the 5 years, I've restructured and we teach cooking classes, private and group classes, and offer private chef services at people's homes. So that's kind of the last half of the last 11 years. So that's been like that last 5 or 6 years. And what we really do in a small snippet is we teach people how to cook smarter, not harder. I mean, cooking shouldn't be hours long in the kitchen, and it shouldn't be something that you dread to do, right? I mean, as a fellow chef, you you know
Oh,
that, right?
absolutely. Yes.
It's
I
so
I
it's such
get
a
asked that all
beautiful
the
thing.
time. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah. It's such a beautiful
I love that
act
tagline.
of
Cook
love,
smarter but not harder.
not harder, right? It's such a beautiful
Brilliant.
act of love for yourself and for your family. And I think that it's been so overcomplicated in the last, I don't know, decade or two, everything seems so much harder or they make it so complicated. And really, we just have to bring it back to basics. Good, real, delicious,
Hmm.
fresh food on the table with you and your family.
And
That's the goal.
yeah, and it's surprising with a lot of people because they just get overwhelmed. I know when I
Yes.
teach cooking classes or
Yeah.
when I'm on TV showcasing certain
Yes.
recipes, all the producers are asking me for, we need something simple. We need something that people can
Yeah.
put together in 15, 20 minutes, the minimum
Yes.
amount of the ingredients. But it also, what people don't realize is, of course, you and I as chefs, we love to
Right.
experiment, and I go into molecular
Right.
gastronomy, and we like
Right.
to try out fancy ingredients.
Right.
But for the most people, they get very intimidated. So the simpler that the ingredients list, the better. And while we're talking about ingredients, what do you feel is that secret ingredient to the success of your business?
Secret ingredient to the success of my business can honestly say, and it's not surprising, it's hard work. I mean, it's putting in that hard work and realizing that nothing comes without the hustle. That, I mean, I can say
Hmm.
in business, that's been the secret. And people have been like, how have you lasted so long with 3 young children, working all the time? And it's the passion, it's the hard work put into it. And I think if you want to do it, then you should go for it, you know?
Yes. Yeah, and with that, especially when we spoke, you were telling me that you've opened your first studio when you were 8 weeks pregnant, and I feel that
Yes,
so many
yes,
people they stop themselves from opening the business for a wide variety of reasons, whether it be kids, or it be finances, whether it be time. So, what advice would you give to someone to overcome these obstacles? Now, some of these obstacles are, as we know, could be just just the belief system, I can't do this. But some of the obstacles are real, like financial and time. Those are real obstacles. So what advice would you give to somebody who really wants to make that leap and start a business? How can they do it? What would you say?
right. I would tell them to not overthink it and don't overanalyze it. I feel like when you are overthinking something and overanalyzing it, it paralyzes you to actually do it, right? So I say, obviously, be practical about it, be smart about it. Do you have a roof over your head? Do you have food on the table? All the basic needs are taken care of when it comes to finance. You just basically have to go for it and don't overthink it. I mean, that's the bottom line. There's never a good time, right? There's so many things that can come up for me as a client. There's somebody else, maybe they're not feeling well, maybe somebody else, they're moving, it's a bad time because they're going to move houses or states, but there is no time like now because we know what's going on with the world. Life is too short to wait too long, so make your life your real life.
Yeah, this is great advice. So there was a little bit of a lag in the sound, so I'm just going to say
Sure.
is don't what Rama was saying is, don't stop yourself. Ask for help. If I feel like right now is and we were talking about how starting a business now, that for some people, there's never been a better time than start a business now. Follow
Right.
your passion, find what you're really good at, and even ask for support. I feel like well, on the show, on Business Kitchen Show, we give you amazing resources on business tools to put in your toolbox, and ask friends. There's a lot of information available. And with kids, even, I was just listening yesterday to an interview, and they were talking about how people offer other people to watch their kids
Yeah.
over Zoom. I mean, that's extraordinary.
Yes.
I just
Yes.
think that so many of us, we try to take on so much ourselves, and we say, I am just alone, but nobody should ever feel like they're truly alone when they're starting a business. There's a lot of resources. Ask for help, because help is available.
Right.
Now, Rama, how did you pivot? So I know as a chef, I know that the teaching cooking classes is a very hands-on experience. I know we all like to watch those cooking shows, but there's nothing like hands-on experience where somebody gives you direct feedback. So how were you able to pivot with your business? Because I know your success story. How were you able to
Yes.
pivot from that in-person interaction to tell us, what have you done? We're fascinated.
Yeah.
We can't wait to hear.
Thank you. So basically, overnight, let's rewind to March, right? March of this year, when overnight everything was shut down and we didn't have any heads up of anything, and whatever plans you had went out the door, right? So who cares if your business was fully booked and you had cooking classes and parties, because that was not going to happen, right? So with my whole hard work ethic, and also knowing that it's never a good time in life to start something new or pivot, because life is always going to happen, right? So for me, and my mindset was, if I do anything and make a change, it's going to be now. It might not be perfect, but I'm doing it and I'm going forward. And traction is up, it's not down, I'll be okay, right? So I decided, why don't I take this whole concept of teaching classes and do them online? Do them not pre-recorded classes, but do live classes, so people can get the actual feedback live in the support, right? So when you are caught in something, or if you make a mistake and you're making a salad dressing, how do you fix it, right? As a student, you want to know at that moment. So with all those ideas in my head, I said, why don't I host live cooking classes online on Zoom? It's a great platform. And, just put it out there to social media, Instagram, Facebook, and see what my community has to say. People were very receptive, very excited. They felt finally they had time to learn how to cook, finally they had time to learn something new, or finally their kids, who have been bugging them for a class, have time to take a class, because they did it before. So overnight I decided to do it, and fast forward April, I had a whole roster of classes and completely sold out virtual cooking classes on Zoom.
That is absolutely extraordinary that you were able to overnight from March to create a whole new feedback driven online cooking platform. That is extraordinary. And I agree with you, where I feel like people love to get that direct feedback. They like
Right.
to you probably send out the list of ingredients ahead of time, and then
Yes,
so
1
when
week before
people
the
jump on, right, so when people jump on, they're already prepared for the class, and
Right,
there's
right.
nothing, and especially you with all your training, with all your culinary background, with all your experience, that you are able to take something that is traditionally is best done in person, and you have made it so successfully to pivot it on to an online platform. Now, for anybody who is listening or watching that has a business that is really, that you feel that is can be only hands-on, and that you can only give feedback in person, I would talk to Rama and maybe send her a message and ask her,
Sure,
Rama,
please.
what have you done? But did you so where can people find you? Just will I'm sure that
Sure.
your inbox is going to be flowing with messages.
Sure, thank you. So wannabechef.com, like a bumblebee. So wannabechef.com is my website. I'm also on Facebook and Instagram with the same name, Wannabe Chef. I have a YouTube channel as well called Plant-Based Cooking by Wannabe Chef, because as we all know, plant-based these days is the way to go. And so I have that as well. But really, I mean, the bottom line is, like you said, Natalia, just create your support system, your village for whatever you want to do. Have passion drive you, and being a perfectionist is actually not going to be a situation. You know, just go forward and just do it. Don't worry about being perfect.
Right. And then you and I were also chatting that us as chefs, we always have plan A, which is the perfect execution plan. But then I have two family restaurants in Sarasota and Bradenton area, and things happen all the time. You know, look, somebody calls in sick, somebody gets hurt and cuts themselves. There's always something, like you were saying, somebody has an allergy, and we always have to be able to make an adjustment. But
that is
so the same for everybody who is watching and listening. Think about how sometimes done and delivering is good enough. And right now I feel like if we approach everything that we do with ourselves and with other companies with just a little bit more compassion and just a little bit more kindness and just be a little bit more forgiving, because if we can start sharing this compassion and kindness attitude towards ourselves and towards everybody else, I feel like every business could benefit from that.
Talia, that is so beautiful. That is so beautifully said. I mean, I got goosebumps with you just saying that. That compassion is so huge right now.
So Rama, when you pivoted with your cooking classes, how did you figure out what is the best price point for having classes online versus in person?
That's a great question. So in the beginning of the virtual classes, I thought about, okay, what is a family of 4 spending for dinner tonight? You know, what is an average family of 4 spending for dinner, not going too crazy, you know, in a fancy restaurant, but in an average restaurant. So I thought between $25 and $50, right? For no lamb chops or lobster, you know, that's what they would be. Quick service food.
So between 25 and 50.
And $50. That's what I thought. That's how much they're spending.
Okay.
So I thought, why wouldn't you want to 50? Right. So I thought, why wouldn't you want to take that price point and offer it to people for them to actually learn to make a new meal, like a new dinner meal, and also serve the family, you know, their family, the food that they make. It's a win-win, right? You're learning and you're feeding your family dinner at the same time. So I came up with that price point. That's why I have an average, you know, basic dinner for family of 4. And I was very respectful with the financial situation that people had going on with the pandemic. You know, a lot of what drives me is my passion, and my passion to help and teach as many people as I can to actually cook in the kitchen. The last thing I want to feel is handcuffed in a fast food drive-through because they have no choices. They don't know how to cook. They don't know what to cook, right? So that passion leads me to making, you know, these decisions of cooking classes being affordable.
I think that is such a great approach, because as chefs, I feel that we have a responsibility to share the skills that we have to help people. And especially I've spent a decade myself studying all different aspects of health and wellness. And, you know, for us, what I have done here is I started a Mindful Monday Minute newsletter, because I've been training our restaurant teams how to approach things with better mindset. So if any restaurateurs out there are listening, this is exclusively for restaurants and managers. If you go to natalialevy.com, you can sign up. There's a Mindful Monday Minute newsletter that now goes out to the industry. But I love that you approach everything from such a space of compassion, that we want less people going through drive-throughs and having junk food and putting that into your body, because if you are putting garbage into your body, you're just not going to feel good, and then you're not going to have energy to start a business and to
Exactly.
be the best that you can be for yourself and for your family,
Right.
and for all the people in your life, to show up in the best way. I have one more question for you.
Sure,
To
sure,
all
sure.
the people out there that are dying to get some cooking advice from you right now. So what are your top 3 favorite cooking gadgets?
Okay, so you need to make sure that you run, not walk, to get these 3 in your kitchen, just an FYI. The Instapot, which is a multifunctional cooker. Even as a chef, I cook a lot, but I'm not standing in my kitchen for hours, so I end up using the Instapot, which does so many different things. A great blender. So I have my Vitamix blender, and I use it almost on a daily basis for soups and smoothies and sauces and fresh nut butters and things like that. And the third one sounds maybe not that important, but a good milk frother. I absolutely love tea and coffee, and I hate to spend that money, outside the house. So I try to treat myself with fancy coffee and tea with a milk frother.
Oh, that's interesting. So I would concur with the Instapot. I use it a lot, and I teach a lot
Do
of it.
you?
Actually, that is the best ever Instapot chicken soup is my #1 performance video on my Healthy Intent YouTube channel.
Love that.
Yes, and I do use a Vitamix as well. I love it. My latest favorite is actually an air fryer, because it is such a great tool. So Rama, it has been such an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for coming in all the way from New Jersey. Give it up for Rama Ginde, and go check out her on her website. She's fantastic, and such an honor, Rama. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I'm going to wrap up the show. So today we learned from Rama so many great tips on, she started a business with 8 weeks pregnant. In the span of 5 years, she had 3 children, and she still kept going. And if that is not a sign of perseverance, and she said that the secret ingredient to the success of her business is hard work. Show up, have a plan B, have a plan C, have backup. And if you are wanting to start a business, or if you're in the position to help somebody start a business, if you're in the position to share some of your business knowledge, to mentor, please do that. We all need a little bit of help. If we can all crowdsource solutions, and if we can all share a little bit every day to help somebody else, to help somebody achieve the success, please do so. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Natalia Levy, and we'll see you next week on Business Kitchen Show.
You've been listening to the Business Kitchen Show. Tune in each week for saucy interviews with business owners and to pick up fresh ingredients for your business success. The conversation continues after each episode on the Business Kitchen Show Facebook page. For the full show menu, visit businesskitchenshow.com.
Get the FM Money Talk Radio